Welcome to WordPress Accessibility Day. My name is Jay McKay, and I'm the Director of Community Programs at Nobility. Thank you for joining us for Psst, Hey You! Not Everyone Likes Videos with Michelle Butcher Jones. Michelle is a lover of all things open source, a WordPress core contributor, and an international speaker. She runs her own WordPress shop at 13 Core and is the head geek at Can't Speak Geek. Michelle is also a meetup organizer for St. Louis and the lead organizer for their Southern Illinois WordPress meetup, and is currently working on her first book set to be completed in 2023. Please feel free to add your questions in the Q&A tab, and we will answer them at the end of the session. And please use the ideas section to chat with other attendees.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone has so far has enjoyed the day. It's evening where I'm at now, and let's kick this off. To start, I already gave my little introduction of I'm Michelle Butcher Jones. I live in Southern Illinois, about 5 hours south of Chicagoland area. Already kind of went through everything I do. I'm also a volunteer for the WordFest live that should be happening here in a little while. And then my day jobs, I am the head of support specialist at Thrive Agency, and then I also do content management for Cornell University. Anymore, there are videos everywhere on social media, on websites. People will send you videos, and they are just everywhere. And there's a huge allure of videos from TikTok to YouTube to Facebook. Almost all of your social media platforms now have some kind of video streaming. And according to Cisco, now videos count for 82% of all web traffic. And the two biggest areas right now of YouTube and Facebook say they have over billions of views every single day. So, video content is very supreme right now when it comes to the social media and on your websites. You see drone videos now covering locations of businesses and many like get to know us videos and unboxing videos from influencers. And why do people love them? You know, the joke of all the cool kids are doing it. And then now there's this huge wave of the influencer culture. And so many people who go from having this idea of they love makeup, so why not make videos of learning how to put the makeup on and what products work for them, what products don't work. And then video is great for boosting your SEO to get the Google gods happy. And then they are relatively easy to make if you're only making videos. But when you're only making videos, then they're not very accessible. And when it comes to them not being accessible or just kind of other reasons, not everyone likes videos. I tend to actually be one of them who don't really care for videos. My ADHD brain, even paying attention to sitting in a movie without like playing on my phone or doing a little something else, I tend to lose interest in it. And right now, just in the United States alone, 13% of the population has some sort of disability. And with the disabilities of being hearing impaired or visually impaired, or even just cognitive differences with can be a huge hurdle when it comes to just watching videos. And some people dislike being talked to. For a lot of the like Facebook Live videos, when they first started talking, you would have a video of just someone sitting there with a phone like this, just talking. And it's almost like FaceTime, except for it's a one sided talk. And for those, with me personally, 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes in, and I'm just like, okay, this is boring. And then sometimes the content can be very hard to comprehend if you have someone who is talking really fast or talking with an accent that you're not completely used to. Or there are those type of videos you see them especially on like Facebook where it's look what happened type video, and or they're cooking and they check the pot for like 3 minutes instead of like just showing you the dish. And quite often, even without a disability or different type of brain patterns, you can get really impatient with that. And then also the quality of the video. And with quality of the video, there's the sounds, how clear people are talking. There is also like a bunch of background noise and visual aspects of it, because some can be kind of fuzzy. Like if they're using their phone to record and they got a smudge on the lens, it can show bad quality for the video, and then people might not want to see it. And then other non-accessible issues that don't have to deal with like sound and visual is there's also all the advertisements all the time. And right now, if you're in the United States, we're getting ready next Tuesday to have our midterm elections. And so with Facebook, especially, there's so many political ads and they're just all the time. Like you can watch a 8-minute video with a gal talking about uh, Egyptian history, and there could be 7 different videos in that 5-minute video ads talking about the elections. And sometimes it's the same ad over and over again. And then also on more YouTube than the other ones, you have the subscriber pressure. Like, click here, please click here, please follow me here. Every so often. So even if you were able to keep attention to the video, the every like minute or two saying, click this button, subscribe here, don't miss out, can break your thought on it. And then again, of just not having a clear point to it. And then too much fluff can make people lose interest. Even as adults and in children, also, there is a limit to how much cognitive you can spend on something. Typically, for a toddler to school age, it's a minute per year. So, like a 2-year old typically only has about 2 minutes of attention they can spend on any particular thing. And even as adults, we tend to kind of have that same repertoire where um, there's only so many minutes that something can keep us interested, especially if we're not interested in it. Then there's also different video conflicts that can happen as well, because there's no one size fits all solution. That comes for SEO, that comes for website builds, it comes from clothing, it comes from everything. We're just not a one size fits all type of world. And when it comes to accessibility, we always think about the vision and audio accessibility, but there's a broader area for that as well that needs to be included when it comes to videos. It's your neurodivergent persons who um, might need more of grab you type attention to keep you interested. There's the ADHD brain who, if you're talking about something in a very monotone voice and you're just being kind of boring, that will also lose the attention of the video. Auditory processing disorders. For me, myself, I tend to read lips to be able to understand more with the auditory processing. And that's where I will jump in and also say I want to thank the WordPress Accessibility Day team for having the ASL interpreters on here. That is one thing I've always been very appreciative of because I am a little hard of hearing. I do read lips. And then also, as a preschool teacher, before I started working in WordPress, we would teach our younger children the basic signs like milk and more and please and thank you to help them say their needs before they could vocally do it. I have an 18-year-old daughter now who is in college and uses a lot of the sign language still for like if you're at a loud basketball game, you're trying to get the person beside you's attention because you're wanting to go get a drink. So you're trying to yell, "I want water," and they can't hear you. But if you tap on their shoulder and then give the water sign, they know what you're doing. And with auditory processing, my daughter also has it as well, and we have learned with sign and lip reading, it helps us out a lot. Then also different learning disabilities. There's a mixture of what can help learn at different stages. Like you would not have a 4-year-old sit in front of just learning videos to learn how to tie their shoes. And then also at just different cognitive levels, you would want different aids for helping to learn, which goes into that there are many different learning styles, and not everyone can learn from just videos alone. Sometimes a person needs more than one format to let it also in. Oftentimes, you'll have people who are just vision learners who can do well with videos. But then you have your auditory people who can play the video in the background, just hear the sounds of the people talking and soak it all in. Then you have others who wants to have a video but also have a transcript of it so they can listen along to what is being done to be shown what it is and then go to try to do it with the wording also with it. Like for my at work, I train our new project managers on the web team, and we have a system that is tell it, show it, shadow it, do it. So there's those 4 different steps of doing everything, and by the time you get through that 4th step of doing it the first time, you've absorbed all the information to do it, which makes you more successful. And when you're only having videos on your website or sharing them in social media, and you don't have any text with it, it can make it very hard for those people who do not learn well from videos. But if you must use videos, and I will admit I do like my videos as well on different things that keep my attention. Like I love watching the videos from like WordFest and WordPress.tv from the talks of past. And with those, though, they have a lot of options for accessibility to make them easier for people to watch. Sorry, I had to grab a drink. All videos should first include web friendly text and captions and transcripts, and then PDFs that allow for audio playback when you share the information with it. This is mostly for if you are sharing them on your website, like, say, if I took the video from this talk and posted it on Can't Speak Geek for people to watch, I would want to have a copy of the transcript attached to it. If I was to use the logos from the site to make sure they have their alt text behind them and the font is very friendly to read. And then also making sure that the slides that I used also has web friendly text with spacing and easy to read. And then I am a huge fan when it comes to captions on any type of videos. My husband and I both use closed captionings on our television for movies. So it just makes it easier to be able to understand what they're saying, especially when you have videos and movies with a lot of background sounds. And then also for the PDFs that you might attach with your videos is to make sure that they allow for the audio playback to happen. And then going back into a little bit more of a deep dive of it, when it comes to the text in your videos and on the pages that hold them, is make sure you're choosing easy to read fonts, that there's large spacing, and that the text is also kind of a large font. Because the older you get, the more harder it is to read smaller print. And then if you tend to need bigger ones of the glasses, um, those also might make it harder for you to read smaller fonts. And then also avoid animations in your text because of with animations or like back in the late 90s when the marquee words were very popular and they would have moving text. That's really hard for text readers to grab onto and read in general. And then also keep in mind of your color palettes for when you use color on text, and then for backgrounds, remember for the contrast and highlights for important information so that it can stand out more for the reader. And also when you're using the icons and color contrasting in good fonts, it makes it so much easier for your screen readers. And then with your videos, make sure to always have the captions made during your live videos. It's really nice with YouTube that they do have a speech recognition technology. However, with YouTube and Vimeo and many of the others, it's a good start, and you should definitely go through and revise it to ensure that it is correct. And the best way to also do that as well is have a script that you have written out before you do your video that has everything that is supposed to be said. So once the video is done and then you have to go back in and look at what the YouTube speech recognition picked up, it makes it easier to switch the words out. A lot of times when it comes to the recognition, it picks up your normal words. But if you tend to use slang or have a thicker accent, then or not enunciate very well, it won't pick it up as well. Like for us people who are in the South or even more Southern than I am, with the using the y'all and words like that, it tends to not pick them up as well. And then also with the video captions, they will not only pick up your words when done right, but it will also pick up all the sounds and turn them into text. So if you're making like a little commercial type video of your business, and one of the things you want is someone walking in through the door and you hear the ding dong of the bell, that it will pull it in there too. So when people who are having auditory needs won't just hear the person talking, but they'll be able to read that the doorbell dinged and a person walked in, which makes it even more engaging to the person who is doing speech to text. Now, there are two different types of captioning. There's your closed captionings, which those are encoded in with the video. So it's kind of all one file. And then you have the open captions, which are decoded from an existing subtitle file, and that's usually made by a third-party service. And for that, it could be whichever one you prefer, but typically closed captions work the best if you are doing all of this manually. And then one of the things I love the most about meeting videos and also training videos is to have a transcript to go along with it. And a transcript is, it takes all the captions and prints it out into a dialogue that makes it searchable. And for that, I'm one who, if I do have to listen to like a Loom meeting video, I will put it on like speed 1.5 to 2 to kind of go through it quickly. Or if it does come with a transcript, I more look at that and find where I need, and then we'll go back to the video at that particular time point. And it helps because one, you don't have to keep up with what's on the screen. Um, because especially in like meeting videos, you want to kind of skip through the hi, hellos, introductions, and go down to where, oh, well, we need to figure out about building the homepage. Let me skip ahead to that information. And then they go talking into SEO parts. And if you're the developer, you don't need to know about that. And you can skip ahead until it goes into the next information. And for transcripts, it's like reading a book instead of watching the movie. And I am one who's more into the reading the books than the watching the movies because they're always better. And then audio descriptions here and there and everywhere. This goes for images and scenes and videos through narration. And who doesn't like a good narrator? Like we joke around about having the little quizzes that says which Marvel character would narrate your life, or which uh, deep voice will narrate yours voice, or which Muppet could describe your life. So we all do enjoy the having the narration, and it does help with transcribing everything to audio, but it also helps for the visually impaired. The more descriptions you can give, the more adjectives and verbs and build up you can get, the more a person can imagine it in their head if they cannot see it visually. We notice this in books that we could read. Like for myself, I'm a huge murder mystery lover. And there's a writer named Brian Freeman who actually just put out a book yesterday that I haven't started reading yet because I haven't had a chance. But in his books, he is so descriptive with the scenery, with the people, that you can just see it all in your head. And then another example is I've always been a huge Dan Brown fan, who has done the books and the movies of like Da Vinci's Code and Angels and Demons, the religious fictional history type books. And see, who was it? Was it Tom Hanks who played in that? Yes. And with his books were so descriptive that the first time I saw the first movie he did was a Da Vinci Code. And while I didn't picture some of the people who actually played those characters as them, but the places a lot that he did, and some of the people descriptors, because he was so vivid in his audio and his legible descriptions, that in my head I pictured a lot of it and it was very close on. And that happens with also when you have the audio happening with your descriptions. An extended audio with giving the descriptions can give the small details of every single little action frame. And that just turns your video in a way into a really good book. And they can help close the gap between what is happening on the screen and what the viewer understands, pardon me. Especially when if someone can see a little bit, but it's more blurry, but also has all of the audio descriptors, it really can put it all together. And for the visually impaired, it can, the more description, the more they can see with their imagination. And then on the technical side, when it comes to video formats and players, you'll want to make sure you are using the best formats possible for accessibility. Typically, that is the MP4. And then also for the accessible for the vision impaired and other accessibility items. If you use more of like the Windows version or different things like that, then you're making the other people who say, like, if you have it made on Windows using their media viewer and you're an Apple computer user, you would have to download the Windows Media Player to be able to watch that video. Now, most of the time, Vimeo and YouTube does this automatically for making everything accessible. And then using a WordPress site makes it easy for you to embed those videos. And after the videos, makes it also easy for you to embed your transcripts and text in there afterwards. So it's all one nice package together on your page. And then for making the videos and editing, products like your Adobe Premiere Pro can help you get your videos of good quality and also make them accessible. And then there's some random other thoughts for when it comes to sounds to make them accessible. That's easy to do is number one, speak slow and clear, and then also show your speaker's face. So often when it comes to your auditory um, people is when you have someone talking like this and looking away, you can't really hear them. And it's kind of like the opposite version of you driving and you turn the radio down to make sure you don't get lost. It's that being able to see it, to be able to hear it. And then block out white noise when you're doing your videos. So, like if you are wanting to record outside and there's like a light outside humming, or if you're in an office and there's a bunch of just the kind of not really chatter towards distracting, but just your little noises kind of rubbing back and forth. And then try to avoid using filler words. This is the one thing I try the most on as a speaker, but still sometimes have issues with. And the filler words are your ums, your uhs, your hums, and they are fillers to save area. And then also have a narrator to help you with the background audio in it. And have a non-distracting background. How many times, especially back in when more local radio stations were bigger than they are now, and they would do the live radio events, and you would have hi, my name is Michelle Jones, and I'm coming to you from our local grocery store. And those were just audio, but even in videos now where you have the person talking at the grocery store, but you have all the noise of the carts coming back and forth, and maybe a child screaming in the background, or a husband talking to the wife, to where you're hearing all of these surrounding noises around that one person trying to talk about being at the grocery store. And you have a hard time trying to stay pinpointed on the lead person because of all of that distracting background noise. And then some random other thoughts to do for your visuals is, again, nothing blinking, flashing, or strobing. This is big for anyone who has epilepsy, but it's also very beneficial for if someone has vision issues and where they're sensitive to light and anything like real bright flashing, especially if you're the type of person to use the dark views on your monitors. If you have a dark view and you start a page and all of a sudden there's this like glowing, blinking thing coming at you, it can take your eyes a minute to adjust, and it can really hurt them if you are very sensitive eyes. And then also with the flashing and strobing, there can be just very distractive as well. And the audio cannot pick those up. And then another thing that is really thought of quite often is the smooth movements of a camera. If you watch like the Blair Witch movies where they're running through the woods and the videos are just jumping everywhere, it's hard to keep attention with it. It's hard to really convey what's going on in the video because of the movement. And also, it can just create motion sickness for some people watching it if they have a sensitive stomach. So the smoother you can make the movements of the camera and ease of use of just going through everything, it makes it a lot easier. And then remember your color contrasting when it comes to making videos, especially if you're using a green screen. For example, there was a couple of years ago where Queen Elizabeth was wearing a green outfit in one of her, I think it was Christmas talks, maybe, or just when she was addressing the UK. But they were turning it into all different kinds of cover ups because of green screen with her outfit. And there's been different times where, like, meteorologists doing the weather on TV would wear a green outfit, and when they would walk up to the map, they would disappear except for like their head and their hands. So that's with green screen for the color contrasting. But then also, say if you're wearing a white shirt like I am, and you go to put on the WP accessibility banner, because I'm in white and the background is in white, I pretty much disappeared. And if you are mindful of when you go into different types of settings for your videos, you would want yourself to stand out more for showing the people and not just kind of blending back with one another. Oh, give it a minute. We'll wait to switch over for ASLs. That was perfect timing. Other factors for accessible videos, because there's more than just accessibility for the democracy of media. Other wins for having the accessible videos is, well, one, the obvious of being inclusive, reaching all audience, both ones with accessible needs and ones who just like using the accessible needs, kind of like with me on like actually really enjoying watching ASL interpreters talk. Sometimes I'm not having auditory dislocation issues, but I still like using the closed captionings. Also, videos, especially accessible videos, improve SEO scores. And of course, we always like appeasing Google to be that number one on their searches. And videos can also help with ease of use of your website when they're accessible. Because if you are having an informative site where you're wanting to teach different type of lesson plans, if you have the video plus your slides that go through the video and a transcript of it, all of those things together will help people learn better on your site. And the most attention getting of your wallet is the more accessible your videos are, the more accessible your website is, lower chances you are of a legal complaint with the ADA. Because that is something nobody wants to get into, because lawsuits now for ADA can cost a lot of money. And for the bad side of it, it's cheaper just to make yourself ADA compliant. And then I wanted to throw in some helpful links that I had. Some of the information that I have in here today was grabbed from these links, and also just kind of ones to have around. Of course, going into the WCAG accessibility standards. Found AVA, that is Captionings for All. That's really kind of cool to see. And then TAP-TAP-See is a for vision impairs. Then we have for the U.S. Americans with Disabilities Act. Google has their own Google Accessibility, where you can learn more of information with working with Google. InVideo for video accessibility. The Ally Color Contrast Accessibility Validator. For this, you can enter colors in and see if the contrast is good enough to be a accessible contrast. And then the BOIA video checklist. This is actually a really great checklist if you're just learning how to be accessible with your videos or wanting to grow to make sure the videos are fully accessible. And then the Assistive Technology Industry Association, they've got a lot of great information on there. Well, it looks like I cut this 6 minutes short. But I want to thank everyone to come to my talk. I want to thank both of the ASL interpreters coming to share my words with their hands. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their, let's see, 14 hours we have, I think, left.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. We do have a couple of questions. This first one, do you have suggestions that we can use for creating transcriptions to go with our videos? Perhaps anything free to use?
There was one. I remember the name of it. Fusebox transcripts is another good one. And then most of them, though, unfortunately, are kind of paid.
Oh, we had a suggestion of Otter, I believe.
Yes, that was actually the one I was trying to think of. I knew I needed to write those down.
Let's see, we have another one. Is there a way to get the slides without a scribed account or script account? Excuse me.
For mine?
Yes, I believe so.
I will actually share those out at the end of the day. Mine will not end of the day, end of the hour. Mine will be posting on Twitter. But if you want to go back to my slides, in the top right, there is a link that is mlb.pw/WPAD 2022, which will take those to Speaker Deck. They can be downloaded there.
Great. This was a question about the MP4. What is it about the MP4 that is more accessible to visually impaired than other video formats?
It's mostly for the MP4, they are able to be played on almost all players. Where your QuickTime and Flash, which yes, they still have Flash around, Windows Media Player tend to only want to be played on those type of media players. But then also the MP3s, it's just kind of like your like PHP level, WordPress levels and stuff. It is accessible, but with the newer MP4s, it just makes it a bit better, and the code is written just a little bit more tighter.
Okay. We had another one. Do you recommend a particular plugin for e-commerce sites? If it's just the if it's just the codec compatibility cross-browser and cross-OS, that might be from a different session.
I think that one, yeah.
Oh, here we go. We have another question that just popped up. If you had to choose between video and audio, do you think that audio has a broader appeal than video and would be better to just do the audio and text rather than video and text?
Me personally, I am an audio and text type person. With doing this talk, when it came to like looking at the different things with accessibility, and for me on personal, I don't know how many times like I would go to like have an email that's talking about like a breakthrough for diabetes care, and I'm like, yes, let me get to this, and it's goes to just a page that is a video that's like 32 minutes long, no transcript, no closed captioning, and I'm supposed to watch this thing for at least 28 minutes before I can click on a link to take me to what they're actually selling in the information. And usually with those 2 minutes in between my ADHD and my neurodivergent brain, I am done. But with being a preschool teacher first, and then I've taught on with beginners WordPress, and then being a trainer at work for our team. There's so much more beneficial to the mixture of things. Um, and I like it so much more where there's you can just listen to the audio, you can just read, or you can do the video, or you can do the mix of all three. But if I had to choose, especially the I'm just going to stand here and talk into my video, or the not have an option, give me just the audio.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same way. If it's just going to be talking at me, I'd much rather have a transcript. So I agree with that one. I just wanted to give out that address one more time for the slides. It's MLB period or dot uh, PW slash WPAD 2022. I believe we've also put it in the ideas tab as well on the channel. Okay. Oh, next one. What is your opinion on background videos? Are they very annoying to you? Do you see value in them for others?
um, I can see the appeal in them. But for the love of everything that is good, do not make the audio play automatically. Because how many times, especially if you've been sitting in a quiet room and you go to a page, and it's almost like the clown from the Garfield Halloween episode where the clown's like, "Hey kids!" And it feels like that when you go to these videos and it's all of a sudden just, well, go to the websites and it just sound crazy. But like the little short videos in the header area can be great. And then also like a little moving background for a GIF can be nice. I just recently looked at a real estate site that had a huge hero section where behind it was a drone flying through St. Louis. And it was on a continuous loop. So it never stopped. And if you paid a little too much attention to it, it kind of made you motion sick.
Yeah, that's never a good feeling. Oh, we have another one here. If we're making a product demo video that is, excuse me, let me rephrase that. If we're making a product demo video, is there a specific style of demo videos that you think works better?
As long as they're engaging and the person has interest in it, in like really just authentic engagement in it, then they demos typically work better. And it's definitely a talk about it, show it, but make it a quick move through, because sometimes they're like, let me give you these 74 different points that you're not going to care about, and then show you how it's gone. Where it's more kind of like how we first learned to write papers, where you give your intro blurb, you give the meat, and then you give your outro blurb to it. And sticking with those type of concepts for even demos, where you give your elevator speech, do the demo, answer, do kind of like a FAQ type thing at the end, tends to make it better. Whereas like a lot of these cooking videos, where or even just the cooking recipe pages, where you have like 10 miles of fluff and then you finally get to what you want. And the more of getting what you want tends to make the demos, unboxing, any of those type of videos better.
This is just for me. I'm curious in terms of if you have any advice in terms of how to maybe script out or plan your video before you actually get to hitting record.
For that, what I've tended to have done is just build out almost like a script you would do for doing a play, or even like making a movie. Just kind of do it on a small form because it might just be you. But write out, like, especially what you want to say, and then practice it a bit, so that you're comfortable with the wording of it, and then go into it. And if you're doing something like this, you can always have the words on the one side and still be quite engaging and just glancing over for reading it. And that having that all written out, it makes you not do as many of the uhs and ums. It makes it easier for the transcribers to pick it up, and it also makes you look more confident in what you're saying. Me, on the other hand, when it comes to doing talks, I am the queen of you're going to get to my talk and then about 17 other side stories.
We're going to go on a journey with you for sure. All right. Well, we have just a few more minutes. Let's see if we've got any other questions popping up. But I could just chat with you all day about this because I find it absolutely fascinating. Um, I wanted to go back a little bit too on the background videos. And I think you brought up a really good point about that not having the audio, and also about, having ways to stop. Do you have any recommendations for those autoplay background videos, like maybe how long they should be if they're going to loop, or any additional information for those?
Well, depending on how long that video is, would depend on how long the loop. However, typically a person's not going to stay on that above the fold area more than about 20 to 30 seconds. So, really, that should be as long as it will take. And even if it is a little area down below that's not the above the fold, that, like, say you want someone like giving a thumbs up, to like trying to get someone talked into signing up for something. Still, typically, any given area, they don't spend more than about 20 to 30 seconds on. So, really, that's as long as it needs to be. And then, if you do want it as a continuous loop for longer, you've got to think the longer that video is, the more resources is being pulled from that site, which could make the site slower. And then you have even more issues than just it being more accessible.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to wrap us up, but please, if you have any questions, please pop those in the chat right now. But I want to thank you all for attending our session. Actually, not my session, Michelle's session. Hey, you, not everyone likes videos. Please continue this conversation in the chat or social media using the hashtag WPA11Y DAY and hashtag WP 2022. We also appreciate it if you could go to wpaccessibility.day/feedback to provide anonymous feedback for our speakers on their presentation. And please stay tuned for our next session, Developing Accessibility First WordPress Themes. Coming up next with Nicole Garcia and Annie Heckel at 7 p.m. And please, while you're waiting, don't forget to visit our sponsors pages to grab virtual swag and to enter for a chance to win great prizes. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you right here after the break.